evening. It is Tuesday, 11 o'clock. So let me tell you what's been going on. Um, another situation, another situation. That's all I can say. His farmer flew in to New York to accompany me for the surgery. And did you know that they lost my records? Columbia School of Dental and Oral Surgery, on the day of the surgery. They lost the records. The surgeon could not be found, and they had to get another doctor and surgeon, and they had to give me prep, and that was like 2 hours. They probed, they did all kinds of things, and I was in so much pain, no anesthesia. Because I don't know if the doctor got sick or something happened, but they had replaced my surgeon. So it's almost like they simulated a treatment because they didn't know what to tell me. And it's almost 9 months since I'm in with this situation and still losing weight because I cannot eat properly. So I was very frustrated. And then, of course, still having the issues with the computers and the laptop and the communication and you're hitting. So that's what's been happening. Uh, in any event, on the 1st of November, we begin the surgery, the second attempt at the surgery. They want me to gain more weight. They're saying that I'm still a little bit below weight to take the anesthesia. So I have to now wait again. These are all, retractions. And I'm not going to put off, doing my services any longer. So as of Wednesday, which is on Wednesday, I begin working and doing my birth charts and consultations and doing what I do and what I love to do. And I not stay away from you this long. I have been sleeping a lot because they have me on antibiotics and they have me on all kinds of meds to prep me. So I've been taking it easy, taking it easy, and just working on administrative stuff. And I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling okay. I'm just a little frustrated because I want this to be over. It's 9 surgeries, and I got 6 more to go after these two. So, I'm a little, I want this over with because I don't like dental stuff. It's true. I mean, if there is such a thing as karma, and there is, boy, I got my fair share. I got my fair share. But I'm being very strong, humble, thankful, and grateful that it did not get worse and that they found the infection and I'm on my way to recovery. You know, I don't smoke or drink. I have tea and my water, and as you can see, I've completely changed. I'm not the same person I was before. These crises and these situations have completely changed everything, even the way I physically look. And I have to let you know that so you can understand how the Saturn return cycle works. When it hits, it transforms everything. And you are watching this happen to me. And I want you to learn from that. It's not that I'm a drama queen or a narcissist. No, no one likes their business out there on the street. It takes a strong person to do that. And I'm plenty strong for that. Because that serves, yes, there's always a double-edged sword. But if you are my age, 54, with a little bit of wisdom and some knocks on your belt, you ain't gonna care. The risk outweigh the benefits outweigh the risk. You guys are in your 20s and you need a roadmap and a reference point. And I don't want you to be scared over the top because of this cycle. But I also want you to take it seriously because it happens every 30 years. And he comes 3 or 4 times in your lifetime. One of those 4 times you'll die. So it's very serious because then that means you have to get to work and do what you got to do. Get going with your destiny, your future, and get going. So, and I'll definitely be doing that. I'm going to jump right in because we have a lot to cover. Again, this is for our Patreon subscribers. The video will be taken down immediately after the live streaming. And then I'm going to do a YouTube for my YouTube subscribers, another series on Atlantis, because what's happening and what's about to happen on this planet in the next couple of decades is going to tie into what happened in Atlantis. Remember, I had mentioned that nothing is new under the sun, all has been here before, and everything that occurs throughout history is a recapitulation in a different fashion of what went on before. And that's truly important. I'm going to sound like a broken record when I say this, because then it's going to click in you that the original stories that they're telling you about this and that ain't original. It's only original because it's happening in our present epoch or age. But it wasn't that it's original because it hasn't happened in the world over. The world hasn't seen it. No, it's been here, tried and true. Okay, but first, before I begin, let me read off the names of the people who paid for birth chart, and Miss Farmer postponed the appointments until I got better or went. We wanted to see how the surgery went and if I was able to speak and all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna proceed with it. What I speak, I'm gonna go do a sign language. I'm gonna do it. Because enough time has been wasted, you know. Uh, oh, let me get my book of shadows. Ooh, right? Okay, shadows with my 7 stones, in the name of God. Of course, I have a little adornment. I don't know if you see. I have here my dead flowers. So I freeze them up. It's Halloween season, so we're gonna have a little ghouly thing going on here. Unfortunately, I'm not using my laptop or tablet because Saturn is not working. And they're brand new now. And we're still trying to figure this out, and the technical crew is still trying to figure it out. I decided to buy myself another laptop. And another stuff. This will be my third one. But you gotta stay on top of the demon. Let me read off those who, beginning Wednesday, well, I'm going to start doing their birth charts and doing the consultations from morning to night to catch up. We don't have a lot of people, and that makes room for those of you who want birth charts or tarot reading that you can call, and it'll be immediately available. Because me and Miss Farmer, we worked overtime around the clock to get up to date with all of the birth charts and orders have been placed. So now everybody is up to date, so that's good. Uh, Let me mention those that still need to talk to me to set up an appointment for the birth chart. And that is Penelope, Philip, Corey, Angelo, Nora, Jamie, Kinara, Shandon, Najimba, Lyanne, Lisa Shea, Yolanda, Ariel, Vanessa, Anna, Nick, Francisco, Keenan, and Shakira. Okay, so we are going to begin doing those birth charts on Wednesday. And for those of you who are interested in the birth chart or reading, call, of course, throughout the week. And you can pay through Zelly on the phone number 347-485-6258. That's my phone number. I gotta say it. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, blah, 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 blah. I have to say it. In fact, a lawyer called me 3 days ago, letting me know that I have to do the advertising. He said, follow me or subscribe. But you all know me. I don't do that. It's tacky. I don't need that. I don't do it. But anyway, that's what me do it, so I can do it. They didn't charge me the money for the infringement rights when I put that music, the cha-cha-cha the other day. Remember I put it in the live video? And, because every time it's like thousands of dollars in fines. But they didn't charge me this time, thank God. Well, because they're doing very good. For some reason, even though I only have 49,000 subscribers, the advertising and the attention that the channel has been getting as far as the advertisers has been amazing. I get calls from advertisers every day to put them on my channel, but I'm not concerned with that. That's too much work. I'm a spiritual person. I let Miss Farmer or other staff people take care of that. I don't want to really deal with that. Okay, I read the names. Let me look at who is here and who's not. And I say hello, and then we're going to jump and do part 3 of the solar plexus. We're going to do a little review, then finish, conclude what you do if you are one of those people who's been afflicted by a bad solar plexus or the sacral chakra, which is going to be discussed today also. So we have the solar plexus, which of course is associated with the astrological sign of Leo, the 5th house, and the planet, the sun, and the sacral chakra It's associated with Pluto, Scorpio, and the eighth house. So we're going to be talking about these two and concluding them. So it's going to be a long 2 hours. All righty. Now I'm going to put this book down for a second. And I'm going, okay. And I'm going to see who's here and say hello, to our usual routine and have my tea. All righty. All righty. Now let's see what's going on here. Who is here? Let's see. Hopefully I don't have to use the magnifying glass. Okay. Noval? Man. Do I have to? Do I have to? Do I have to? I'm going to go with no. I'm going to go with no. I'm going to train my eye to just see it. Okay, how you doing? No, I can't do this. I need it because then it cheapens it, it cheapens it. And I don't like to mispronounce your names. I want to pronounce them correctly. I want to pronounce them correctly. So, sometimes I sleep in the living room. So if you see my stuff there, I just throw myself out in the living room versus having to go to the bedroom. I just pass out in the living room. And I'm so tired that I can't even make it to the bedroom. Now, let's see if I find my magnifier. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. Make sure I don't drop the arrangements. I'll mess it up. Here we go. Okay. So, yeah, and it is cold in New York, but right now there's a thunderstorm and raining. Raining cats and dogs. Yep. Pretty quiet out there. Okay, let's go back to the chat. What is this? Sophia Turner. This is not for YouTube. It's for Patreon. But what I do is that I put it on YouTube for less than 24 hours for you guys, and then I put it on Patreon. That way you get to see the content, even if it's only for a minute, If you guys happen to be up and you get the notification, you get to catch a glimpse of the Patreon videos for that one moment, and then they change to the platform of Patreon. And I am producing content for YouTube, for you guys. And that's why I've taken the opportunity with this situation going on to do research and to compile new content data for you guys. And I have a little bit of a surprise for you on that. So I've used the time wisely. Here we go. Oops. There we go. Brianna Jackson, good evening. How are you? Morello Andino Ruiz, how are you? Oh, I need to talk to Mr. Flores. Mr. Flores from Nebraska. I got to talk to him as well. Alexander Rojas. Well, then call me and you'll get it. Probably that happens. A lot of people and I, they're scheduling. I don't do the scheduling. So if you didn't get it, I'm going to take a note of it and text me your phone number and I'll call you tonight. I will do that, Mr. Rojas. All righty. Okay. And Angela Belogs. How are you? How are you? A whole lot of L's. Ahilia here. Hey, Ahilia. Okay, that's your name here. Okay. So you got two different names, Ahilia. Okay. And who else? Who else was going to say hello to? Whole lot of... Okay, that's you. Okay. Live chat. Michael Wyatt. I'm going to go with a no, Mr. Wyatt. I'm going to go with a no. But we've been going through a lot of stuff, So I'm going to talk to her tonight and see if what message did you convey for me through her. SD. Oh, you missed my astrology content. Yeah, I gave a lot too. I gave over 500 videos on astrology. What I'm gonna do for you guys I'm going to continue to do astrology for YouTube, and I'm going to move into other areas of astrology since we mastered pretty much the natal chart astrology, right? And I'm going to start talking about esoteric astrology. So that's going to be a whole new series on astrology, but it will be on the esoteric, and that is something that I will be doing. Bon, good evening. How are you? And Nature Bradford, Moon Dula Douglas, I believe it was. Rachel Elizabeth, how are you? Zen, how are you? I hope you enjoyed your session, Mr. Zen. Okay, Mr. Whitehead, if Mr. Whitehead is listening, we have to. Actually, we're going to redo the videos and we're going to use another platform because we're still not having a functioning platform with Zoom, and you have sent a link for another platform and that didn't work out either. So the next option is to use the platform in WhatsApp, and they did send their apologies on behalf of the company, and which affects us because we use them so that we can deliver you the videos. They're like a third party. So it's been quite down. October has been a hell of a month. Okay, who else is here? So yeah, the next series I'm going to be doing for YouTube, for my YouTube subscribers, all 49K of you, is a whole series on Atlantis, but more detailed. And I have to tell you the story of Atlantis because what's going to happen on this planet within the next 100 years is exactly the same cycle that occurred in Atlantis, for the exception of its destruction. The destruction here will not happen within a century. It'll happen hundreds of years from now. But something will happen currently, but it won't be the big one. So you guys can relax. We definitely not gonna witness anything catastrophic that is at a apocalyptic level. No, that's not gonna be now. So you guys can rest and rest assured. However, I will tell you though that the extraterrestrials are coming. There will be an invasion, and it will be from outside of our planet. However, don't panic and don't fear because they're not here to hurt us, the local common human folks. They're here to hurt the elite and to overthrow the governments of all of the countries on this earth. And then it will be replaced by them. Oh, it's going to be popping. And, and we know, as shamans and spiritualists and clairvoyants, we know that they're on their way. But I'm very happy to convey to you that it's not going to be an invasion like that annihilate us or even hurt us. We're not the one that they're coming for. Okay, let's see. Anyone else? Any questions that you guys may have before I begin? We have a lot to cover today. Yes, really, Rachel Elizabeth. Oh, you have WhatsApp? Okay, you're in Costa Rica. Great. Uh-huh. I'm not an elite. The extraterrestrials are coming to hurt the elite. Those who have taken over the planet and have been running unchecked. The governments of the world. Those elites I'm talking about. I'm a humble guy, a servant, a messenger from the gods. Like you guys have your special gifts and your special, mission to do. And this is just another one like any other. Okay, someone is saying something. I'll read two entries and then we'll begin. Okay, let me get a magnifying glass and see. Richard, who is coming and from where? They're coming from a different star system. I don't know who they are because I've talked to some of them, but as a species, I don't know who they are. I only know what's pertinent to this planet and what I get from the archons. But this is something that is not new. The Earth has been invaded before by other beings from other planetary systems. This is not new. And these people have been here before, or beings, and are returning. And the Bible makes mention of it, and so do all the other religions of the world, mention the same thing. They came, left us, and they're gonna come back. Every culture, race echoes the same. So we know that something came here, left, and it's coming back. Well, they're coming back. Um, and of course, that's no mystery. We've been talking about that. And the church and the religions have always been saying the second coming, the return of Jesus Christ. I came as a lamb, and I shall return as the lion. And it's interesting. Always the lion symbols, which is the opposite polarity of Aquarius, the age that we're now entering. So everything makes sense and fits. It's just that it's in codes and decodes and parts and systems like that. Okay. Oh, another question. Let's see what we got here. Wow. Life is not but short with a little bit of irony. With a little bit of irony. But I don't feel that it's going to be something of a cataclysmic level. Upper echelon given, how are you? The earth is a globe. Yes, it is. No, you should not be scared, Angela. Because, like I said, they're not coming to hurt us. It says in the book of Revelation that people will have a seal on their foreheads, and those who have a seal on their foreheads are not going to be hurt by these beings. But those who that do not have the seal on their foreheads will be hurt by these beings. And the book of Revelation goes into details as to how. What happened to my lighting? See, this is the type of extraterrestrial poltergeist stuff that happens as we approach the witching hour. The lights start blinking, and you hear noises. And then I have to tell my uncle, "What's going on? Y'all need to be out of here or be quiet while I get this work done." Because look, those over there, those archons there, the reason that these are the more demonic ones, and these are the more angelic ones. Again, we possess both. Both polarities are necessary. So we have to deal with the negative side of nature. We have to deal with it because we have that in us too. The shadow of man, the dark side of mankind, is a polarity point. It's a shadow, so nature too has its shadow. Okay. Yes, the mark of the beast, the seal. But understand that these terms might sound very ominous, but those symbols could have meant totally different things then than they do now. Because even symbols evolve from their original meaning to something else. And that's true with everything in nature. Okay? To prepare, well, again, because they're not coming to hurt us, there isn't any, the only preparation that you need to make is a psychological one. You need to be prepared to throw away all knowledge that has been taught to you, which has been wrong. Just totally bullshit wrong. It's not even sophisticated. It's just dumb. You have to throw all that away and adapt a new way of thinking, which the occurring age will demand that we all acquire a new way of thinking, and also embracing that which is different and unusual and maybe a little bit strange or scary. The Aquarian age, well, first of all, if you want to have an idea of what the Aquarian age may look like, study the Aquarian man. Not so much the Aquarian woman, but the Aquarian man. I got videos on the Aquarian man, a few of them, powerful ones. And if you understand the psychology of the Aquarian man, you're going to understand the psychology of the Aquarian age. And just like extraterrestrials is a topic that belongs to the paranormal and space science fiction, no different than the movie Jaws about a big great white attacking a village. It's fiction, but it's more realistic fiction than beings coming from outer space trying to hurt us. It's something that some people just don't allow in their imagination to believe, or it doesn't even make room, or it's figures. It's figures. It depends on what level of education and evolution you're in that you're able to handle those types of truths, especially if you haven't been exposed to them before. It's hard even for me. Sometimes it's hard for me to hear some of the things they tell me. It sounds so outrageous that fiction is a cool breeze in May in comparison. Okay, one more question before we jump into the solar plexus. I'm alpha, okay. Go. Rachel, no one going to kill you. No, Aquarium Man has been chasing me for 3 decades. Oh, they are true Casanovas. Thank you so much for your donation, Ms. BB Visions. She's always a trooper, always very dedicated. Thank you. I love you. Um, Vedic and what? Daja? Daja, bring a Nika inside, a nice inside. The globe is a what? Goso. And then I believe it's Rachel Elizabeth that's making a statement here. They are coming from the earth. We are all alone. They are coming from the earth. No, they're not coming from the earth. They're coming to the earth. They're coming from outside back to us. I can't stop thinking about the Mandela effect. You need to remind me of that. What do you mean by the Mandela effect? Well, no, we'll talk about it later. Okay, you guys ready? We'll begin. Uh huh. Let's put you over here. Now, I know something turned off because I got a little dark. Okay, let's check the lighting because it just went off all of a sudden mysteriously. Of course, that's nothing new. Uh, if you ever live with a magical person, like a clairvoyant, a shaman, astrologer, or witch, whatever they call it, you're gonna see that these are natural occurrences that occur to people who are mystical. There we go. Okay, I think there we go. Okay, all right, there you go. Okay. Uh huh. Oh, my book of shadows. Let's open the vault and let us discuss the chakras. Uh, Very important to understand the chakras. Um, the path to self healing will commence through understanding the chakras. And the chakras is a system, although quite complex. Believe it or not, at the same time, it's really quite simple and very dramatic in the results of healing when you start going in that direction and laying at the hands, laying at certain stones and crystals, the laying of certain herbs, certain baths, certain infusions, certain titrations. Um, Very, very useful in the agency of healing. And there are many platforms, including wellness, that have this faculty, and there's a lot of strong movement in the horticulture culture of venturing out and making this the primary source of medicine versus what's in the establishment now. Because even medicine is going to evolve into something else. We came from an era where there was no such thing as doctors or medicine, conventional medicine, and now we have it. And tomorrow it'll be more greater and bigger and more evolved than what it is now. And that's just how things progress on Jacob's ladder. Things evolve or they degenerate, but nature never stands still. Okay. Okay, Miss Platt, we're gonna put you over here, okay? All right. Because I need this too. Here we go. I'm gonna do a quick run through and go over the solar plexus in 2 to 3 minutes, and then go right into part two. I mean part three. And when we're done, we'll begin the sacral chakra. The reason why we are doing this series is because many of you requested a chakra series. Before we even went into VIMEO, we refined it by going into VIMEO and creating it for VIMEO. But sometimes I think that it might have been a punishment or deterrent from God, because I was moving from YouTube to another platform. But I was getting a lot of hard time. It was rough. No, but come to find out that all of these platforms, which are under Google, operate with the same policy. It's only like a mafia thing, brotherhood thing. Okay, the solar plexus. The solar plexus, uh, solar is self-explanatory, is the sun. And plexus is another Greek, Roman, or Greco-Roman word, which also means like umbilical cord, and also it means center. The sun is the center of our solar system. Is it in the center of our solar system? We really don't know, because there is no reference point in space. You have to create a reference point in order to give time meaning. Like the Aries point. There's no such thing as an Aries point. But we had to create it because all phenomena seem to have began and end in that part of the sky. Until later on, people found out about the ascendant, or astrologers and mathematicians, and how important it is, and still is. So, the chakra system, learning the chakra system, can really empower you to be your own doctor. Do you know what the word doctor means? I'll give you a minute. I always say that the truth is in the language. What does doctor mean? You'll be surprised. Doctor means to teach. So if you are given the name teacher and revered, that means that people have the highest respect they can have on a human being. Even way higher than what Saturn requires. Well, understand that Pisces is a sign that deals with polarity, the yin and the yang, the dark side or the shadow side, and the bright side. Everything has a polar opposite. Why not love? Why not evil? If this can have a polarity point, why not this? If it applies to this, it must apply to this. And that then from there on, it can become very complex quite easily. Because then people have their own pathos about what is and what isn't. And that can get in the way of logical deducing or reasoning. Questions? Okay. Let us proceed with the basic review. We'll do a quick run through review. Okay, I mentioned that the solar plexus focuses on the base material. What do I mean by the base material? The solar plexus, which rules Leo, deals with the ego and the world of the ego. And the world of the ego is indomitable, unstoppable, and is forced to reckon with. Just like if the sun stops shining tomorrow, life as we know it will end. Even though Leo is a fixed star, right? And there seems to be not that much importance in Leo, unless he hits big in the art or culture, then yes, because those are his natural talents. But the other signs of the zodiac, including Leo, may have a difficult time expressing who they really are because of childhood conditioning. So that's something that can happen here. Do you guys know how to handle it if it happens? What was that? Oh, okay. I was just told a little something. Well, okay, okay. I'm making note of that. Um, if you want to live a good life of prosperity, good health, a healthy relationship, and blah blah blah, you have to have a healthy solar plexus. But the solar plexus is not the only chakra that concerns itself with the ego or the personality. All of them interplay each other. They all work together like the beehive. They all work together. And you can isolate each bee and it'll work as if undisturbed, doing what it's supposed to do. Well, according to some scientists, we are worse off than being best off. That might be a case in point, but what can you do about it? And some things cannot be stopped, and some things cannot be prevented. But anything can be managed. It's a question of management, and then having the courage to look at it from that perspective, because then it'll throw away all other worries of something of another perspective that you're gonna decide not to use because it might not be beneficial. There is a shadow side to the chakras. With the solar plexus, the main thing that you have to worry about, not worry, but that you have to concern yourself with, is that the solar plexus is a chakra that deals with healing and spirituality. It is the last door before the personality can enter before he goes back to spirit. Some egos don't like personality and would rather do without it, and others need it as a vehicle. You get to use both. hmm You have to learn to recognize your power, your own power. And there are tools and exercises that I can offer you that will get you on your way. Number four is self mastery. At 4 years old, you should be learning the letters, sight words, cue cards. These are the part of the gestational development in which anything can go wrong and go wrong very quickly and very bad, like abuse. And then it can take a whole lifetime to correct. So here we have to tread carefully because the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, and then the brow or the third eye chakra, these are psychological points, centers. And they're usually quite complex. Never two dimensional. Never two dimensional. But full of abstractions that you have to deduce of where it's going and then how to bring it faster but more clearly. So that's the job of the shaman or the Reiki master or the Reiki practitioner or the one who does feng shui. These are the people that are knowledgeable of the workings of the chakras and how to manipulate them. I gave the cycles of when you are supposed to do what you're supposed to do. I'm going to reread that. Um, and again, the base number is the number seven. At 7 years old, the ego establishes a conscious control. Yeah, because you're not going to shit on your pants or on your underwear like you did when you were 3 years old or 2 years old or 1 month. The ego had no control of the vehicle. But at age 7, the ego is fully formed and fully in control, and now can possess the personality and its vehicles. That's why at 7 years old, you're not shitting on yourself or pissing on yourself. But you do at 2 years old, 3 years old, because you don't know that you are a living ego until the brain begins to awaken and develop at the age of 2 or 3. Okay, these are phases of development that are tried and true and very clinical. At 14, 7 plus 7, 14. So again, multiples of 7. That's the smoking gun. If you want to know about a cycle, a good one and a bad one, you need to know the cycles of the planets that already have a given established number. And then work with that number to establish what kinds of cycles you want to experience concerning that planet or the set of circumstances that you find yourself in. Okay, let me at 7 years old, the ego establishes conscious control. At 14 years old, the ego establishes identity of self. At 21 years old, the ego senses its own destiny. At 21. And then at 29, manifestation of your destiny begins to occur. If it doesn't already arrive at 29, 30, it's in the process of becoming. It comes in 2 speeds. The solar plexus is the psychic powerhouse of the chakra system. Of all the 7 chakras, many authors are saying that the solar plexus is the strongest chakra when it comes to establishing ego, identity, and love of self. That's true, but I find the root chakra far more important. And any damage to the root chakra, you can lose the psyche of a person. Yeah. Let me put it like this. All right. And let's look over here. Then that. Okay, very good. Because today we're going to talk about how to fix the solar plexus. If there are damages to the solar plexus based on abuse or negative conditioning, then this is the time to address them and put a lid on it once and for all, so they don't sprung back out down in the cycle, down the road, and cause you embarrassment or humiliation. Locked out. Locked, like you said, locked out. Okay. Let's move on to. Let's see where we left off. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we talked about this. Spirituality and the solar plexus. Let's begin here on Roman numeral 3. I don't think you've ever heard anyone talk about spirituality in the same breath or under the same sentence when they talk about the chakras and the different methods of healing. The fact of the matter is that neither are welcomed. Because in order for people like us to be embraced by the church will have to agree and concede that we held these secrets for a very long time, even from the church, because of the murderous nature of these people. Is that unusual? Well, I suppose it is. Now, spirituality, the solar plexus. Our gut feelings reside in our solar plexus. Now, before I continue, I gotta tell you something here that you may not have known. That those hunches, when people say, "Oh, I have a hunch," or you have a gut feeling that talks to you and tells you, "No, don't go there, go this way. No, don't cross the street now. A crane's about to fall and flatten your ass." You get messages, you get signals, you get communication from other beings that live on our earth plane but live in different dimensions. Because you do know that the physical world is not the only dimension that exists. There are 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 different planes of realities of existence with their own gods and their own laws and rules. We are nothing but a minuscule mustard seed compared to that. And yes, that is true. We don't know who we are and we don't know our purpose. Especially as a collective race, if we look different from one region to another, and that in itself can cast an illusion. So it's almost like you've been stripped of the bare minimum, and now you have to contend with life with what's been given to you. And I say that you don't be content with life, you make it work for you. But for that to occur, the human species and the planet and animals have to evolve to a certain point where now all of us are receptive to that change. Do you think we are receptive to that change, Miss Fami? Okay, okay. And but how about you? Hmm. Okay. Spirituality is something that people don't like to talk about, especially those who don't believe in God and don't believe in spirituality, because it's outside of their grasp of understanding. And if you got people who've never been taught about the Bible, they've never been taught about spirituality, they're gonna look at it in a very funny way, and maybe even act contemptuously against you or it, because it's something that they're not familiar with. And people tend to throw hate at that which they don't understand. That seems to be a human element. So Jesus, or if we're gonna go with the title of that name, Jesus, is not gonna come and reveal itself as God while walking as Jesus. So there's a lot of cover-ups with the church and a lot of the symbolism taken and readdressed in another way to make people afraid. Now the spread that you did, I don't think so either. And of course, a whole series of things that are going on with people like that. 100% of the cases, for sure, is that there has been some kind of abuse, either verbal, mental, or physical. And with the physical, I also mean sexual, because it's a physical. Our gut feelings tell us what's going on or what's about to go on. Now, do you believe that what is a gut feeling? You tell me, what is a gut feeling? And let me see if you guys know. What is a gut feeling? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oops. Okay. Now, who has an answer? Uh-huh. Yeah, I tell you, it seems like a roller coaster. I cannot believe the damages I have had to go through because of it. I tell you, I thought I was going to end up in one of them commercials. So yeah, it was very humbling, very very humbling. Now, okay, the choice here. 1 second. Someone had. Uh huh. Uh huh. Soon that, wait a minute. Someone said, soon what she may love you too. Oh, I'm not understanding that. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. Um, the gut feeling that you are feeling and talking to you at a moment of crisis, or you're confused, you don't know what to do, you're gonna run all different directions. There's an inner voice that pops up. Do you know what I'm talking about? Nod your heads, yes or no, so I know if it's a no or yes answer. To get you guys, interacting. Okay. Uh, let's proceed with this angle. Well, to answer that question that I almost was going to put aside, the voice is a hunch that you're hearing from within. But that's what the church calls it. In psychiatry or in the field of social sciences, it's called a demon. Not DEMON, but DEAMON, which means companionship. So in those days, to have a demon walk with you is to have a companion. That's where we get the word demon from. So like that, she don't get to see the humanity in the person. Because when you lose your sense of humanity, you might as well be an animal. Because if you don't have consciousness of will and moral fiber of right and wrong, then that means you're still acting on based instincts. And that puts you back into the animal stage. So we're here to learn to move through these kingdoms and evolve back to the concept of God and what that may entail. Questions? No questions? Questions? Okay. Let me put this over here. That's right here. Oops. Hold on. Well, I'm surprised it hasn't fallen as frequently as it always does. Today, it seems like the tripping and falling took a holiday because it didn't happen as frequently as I would have expected. Okay. Okay, there we go. Psychologists and psychiatrists call what the church calls holy guardian angels under another name. A psychologist or psychiatrist or someone in the allied health, mental health fields will use the word basic personality. I'll share something with you. I used to do hypnotherapy. And when I was regressing a young girl, young meaning she was 19 and I was 23. And I didn't know much about past life recall or contacting your past life memory. I was young and I didn't know that, and I really didn't particularly care for it. But as the years kept on and moved on, I've learned so much from other shamans and other people that actually can go back in time and space travel and end up on the Earth's period at some point in the thousands of millions and see something different. that we will probably taught now that never really existed. It can happen in the reverse. I will tell you though that what happened to Atlantis uh, is a strong possibility that it can happen here the same way. Because if we believe that everything is not new under the sun and that everything occurs in cycles, then we are to believe that the piece of the puzzle that can ultimately explain who we are and God and all that other stuff is within us already. It's just dormant. And if we can say that, considering this analogy, then that means that we can apply that to anything we do. Even what we do could be illusional versus the concept of a goal that one can reach it, either being mystical or being primary. When the solar plexus is blocked, then you are going to experience symptoms of that blockage through the physical body. Okay, they just went and began to say something. So, okay, all right. If they keep it brief. So the archons or other beings that coexist in the same plane as we do are the ones that can be talking to us. Because we have our inner voice, and that inner voice is the voice that the people who write about the chakras and the chakra system refer the solar plexus to. The solar plexus is like the second brain. Well, they say that it is the second brain. But I will go further to say that yes, it is the second brain, but the first brain doesn't begin to work until the second brain leads. The second brain, which is the stomach of the solar plexus, leads the personality to other truths. And it also acts as a buffer in discriminating certain information or when to dispense that type of information. And if the person is ready to receive that type of information, that it will not destabilize them with that truth. Those are things that are of concern of the solar plexus. The inner ego of the person, the seat of the ego. The sacral chakra, it deals more with Scorpio energy and also religiosity, I was going to say. Uh, Things that deal with the clergy may become important or a source of study. But I see him doing very well in sports, which causes me to believe that maybe putting an outlet like this to one of your sons might do the trick. Okay. Yes. Yes. Mhm. Now, I did mention in part two that all the chakra systems interplay and interconnect with each other. And we're going to learn about that too. Uh, ta- 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 ta. The gut feelings reside in our solar plexus, where our holy guardian angel resides. So he goes by the holy guardian angel, or he goes by the basic personality, and they have other terms for the same energy. The guardian or demon, Deamon. Um, well, you already know, you guys already know that I speak to my beings, and I can hear them, and they can hear me, and I see them sometimes go through walls and go through doors, because they have a different body than we do. We are carbon based. They are made of another more exotic, mystical. ether that we know very little about. Let me pause here and take some of your questions. Could you believe it's already an hour and 4 minutes and I just got started, but I have to give you. You can't hear me? You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Oh God, that's bad news. Because if that's the case, then damn. Then that means I'm screwed and I can't do no videos. So hopefully it was just a little glitch. Okay? Let's see what you guys are saying here. Let's see. Who were you communicating to? The archons. Yes, you can. You can tap into your higher self. The third eye, which is what I'm about to talk about now. The third eye is governed by the sixth chakra, which you know is the brow. And then, of course, the last chakra is the crown. But they all are connected. Okay, the solar plexus communicates to us, or better said, the archons communicate to us, talk to us, influence us, affect us. It is through the solar plexus that the archons speak to us. It is the seat of the ego. This is stuff that they're not going to tell you concerning the educational system of the chakras. They'll tell you what you need to know, the meridians, this, blah, blah. But they're not going to go deep and talk about the real shit that goes on with your body that you don't even know about. That could be manipulated by other beings, of other systems, or even of our own system. Because you don't have one body, you got 7 bodies. You only see one, which is the physical, carbon matter. But we have 6 other vehicles that look just like us. And they have different functions. And these beings or archons can also affect those bodies within us. This is why they are considered an effective and silent predator. That human beings had no idea was among us. Okay, hold on one second. Somebody's saying something, and let me address it because it sounds, wow. Let's see. I'm going to read it out loud. It says, the person says, my son told me he has aliens with him that take what? That take what? Oops. With him that take care of us when he was 8 or 9. Now that he's 12, hold on, the angel had the angel what? Bad angel? Hold on. Why am I working this hard? Let me get the magnifier. I know, right? Let me get the magnifier. Where did I put you? There you go. Don't ring the bell, please. You can ring my. Where did I just hear someone say, if an archon reaches your solar plexus, you are fired up or fucked up? You have alien beings that are invisible and have different states of matter that communicate to you all the time. You just don't know it. Starry Galaxy, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you. There's no such thing as alien. Yes, there is. Aliens do exist. Yes, they do. They do exist. They do exist right here in our planet and in other systems. Yes, you are supposed to know this. Now at the Aquarian age, yes, you are supposed to know it. For you not to know it is to stay in ignorance for too long. And the human race cannot stay ignorant for too long because then it begins to degenerate. We are going to constantly, as we evolve, learn more truths at the level of evolution that we are prepared and ready to handle them. Not a moment before. And that's the job of the shamans, the priests, the astrologers. We are the gatekeepers. We keep these truths at bay so we don't give it too fast, too quickly, where it can kill or affect the population that we're trying to help. What does it say here? Yep, the stars see it. All that is real. All that is real. All that is real. Well, how could they not? You guys, I mean, look at it. How could we be the only ones here? That's ridiculous. Even for you guys know that. That's ridiculous. All these stars here, billions, billions, trillions, and there's nothing there. We're the only ones here. Why? That doesn't even make any sense. No. So humanity needs to start waking up and needs to realize that there's more to what we've been taught and that we know far more than we have ever imagined. But this is terrible. It went too fast. And I feel like I barely got started, but it's over an hour. So I now have to end the stream, and I'm gonna leave it on. I'm gonna leave it on. I'm not gonna take it down immediately, and then go on to part 3. As you can see, it's a lot of material, but it's specialized content, and I'm teaching you exactly what you need to do to heal yourself. And it's not a quick 1, 2, 3 step. If you've been sick or damaged for a long time, it may take equally that amount of time to get better. Again, it's a balance. I don't know what's going on with my phone, but it's zooming in, it's zooming out, and my phone doesn't have that feature. So again, these are the archons doing their thing. Guys, we'll talk again.